reason for black mental health escalation and verbalization is one, inferiority in the subconscious mind about themselves. Two, others, Caucasians, they feel are excellent and above them. Let's see if that's true. Breast cancer awareness is in October. The fourth Thursday in November is Thanksgiving. December 25. Everybody knows about this day and most celebrate it, if not in a religious sense, but certainly in the holiday sense for most blacks, and the joy of buying presents for loved ones. World Cancer Day, February 4th. Valentine's Day, February 14th. Mother's Day, second Sunday in May. Did you set up any of these days? Did a boss or world leader set up these days? Is this boss or world leader a descendant of the slave master? Do you acknowledge, follow, or celebrate these days? So are you copying what this boss set up, what this world leader set up, what this descendant of the slave master set up? Are you copying the boss, the world leader, or the descendant of the slave master or present slave master? Or are all of these titles interrelated and relate to the same thing? A ruler who black people unknowingly imitate and follow. You follow all of their days, holidays, venerations, Cancer Day, Breast Cancer Day, etc., etc. You follow them. If you're a follower and you did not set that up, then who is the boss and the ruler who you are following? Chocolate eating when depressed after a relationship breakup or some other problem. No record of it in our African cultures. Where did you get it from? Alcohol drinking, same difference. Dog ownership, go back to the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s. Originally, hell no. They stink or naturally have a foul scent that is not conducive to live with. So what happened? Why the switch up? Why the change? Why the copy? How did your sense of smell change in now living with dogs, but the dog foul scent has not changed? Body alterations, breast, bottom, nose, copied from who? Tattoos, copied from hair. Black women straighten it or put in straight extensions. Copied from who? God, Jesus, looking nothing like you, despite the fact that all scientists in the world today say the first humans were African people, which means if God created man in his image and likeness, then the image of God will be black and not reflect people scientists say came out of African dark-skinned people way down in time. So here, the God blacks worship is yet another copy of who? From who? So from chocolate eating to tattoos to what gods look like to most black women imitating another race's hair, and I could go on and continue this list on what was said earlier. Inferiority habits within the subconscious mind that proves you see Caucasians as better than you, that they are excellent and that they are the standard to follow, which is proven by the actions of copying them and following them. So the facts prove blacks imitate whites and see themselves as mentally inferior to Caucasians being sick. And just like in slavery, many blacks express the words, "we is sick, boss," but not by using this term exactly, but by copying and repeating the term, "I got to take care of my mental health, that Caucasians were expressing daily, on the hour, every hour, repetitively across the internet and everywhere they went after restrictions eased as the threat of death by COVID dwindled. In being so tied into Caucasians mentally and subconsciously feeling inferior to them and feeling they are the gold standard who they must copy and live up to, the transference of these mental health expressions and even becoming depressed was easy. Why? Because blacks were already and are already had a Caucasian mind state, and therefore they were and are on their mental frequency on the Caucasian mental matrix within the mental bank that houses all thoughts of all ethical groups on the full plane of existence. So, like a domino effect, because blacks are on their thought frequency, once one black person expressed these typical mental health expressions, others would soon follow in any part of the world because those thoughts are in the atmosphere and easily picked up by others as everyone is tuned into the same frequency, like tuning into a particular radio station. When the mind is weak or has been weakened, trivial situations become mountainous problems because the mind and prefrontal cortex has been degraded. As the mind and emotions are predominantly linked, a corruption in one results in a corruption in the other, whereby the mind plays out predominantly through the prefrontal cortex and the emotions through the amygdala. And so when small things or situations are blown out of proportion, and this becomes a habit and continues, degradation is taking place within the brain, within the two CEOs of the company. And if the CEOs cannot function properly, this wearing down leads to depression, and that is being moody and having negative outlooks on life, being sad most of the time, and the loss of interest in things they used to do. All of that resides and makes the person live in a bath of sadness that they can't get out. This is what happened to so many melaninless people in 2020, a 25% increase in Caucasian health problems that blacks have predominantly taken on through learned behavior, literally. We is sick, boss. So here, their youth became depressed, then our youth became depressed too down the road, same difference. You have money problems, which is one of the main causes of depression in that time, as it is today. Loss of loved ones in that time, like a wife or girlfriend, mother, best friend, etc. And another is drug. All of those are prevalent in the time of COVID. But if you make a vivid note, before you even get to those social factors, the first thing scientists check for, they recognize those social factors, and I'll repeat them: problems with money, or concern about money, or loss of job and no income is coming in, a loved one has died, or drugs. But even though that's acknowledged by scientists, the first thing they check for is the blood and what's going on in the blood and chemistry of their people, where they found out that there are imbalances in their genetics that help trigger these conditions in their people, such as dopamine imbalances, serotonin imbalances, or basically imbalances across neurotransmitters, hormones, and the athletic tracks they run on. This translates simply to them having weak genes naturally, and is not congruent with the genetics of blacks, as like the very joints or bones within blacks are stronger by nature because they are thicker. Likewise, their hormones and neurotransmitters and the circuits they run on are stronger, and they flow with way more accuracy because woolly haired people have stronger genetics naturally in being the original creation of humans and nature's very firstborn. So, with that said, and with 500 years of living on Poverty Street, 500 years of living on Nothing Street, and 500 years of loved ones being murdered by melaninless people, your people of the 1900s, 10s, 1920s, on up to the 1960s still carried this strength as well as the built up tolerance of adversity 182,000 plus days before that of severe abuse. They still carried this strength within their hormones and neurotransmitters and did not break down mentally to express that they have got mental problems and they're depressed and cannot cope. And 99% of them did not break down. over a lack of money or loss of loved ones, even though their environments were exceedingly more racist, grievous, and stressful than the ones we're living in today. So